Hello, everyone. Let me welcome you on the behalf of the Phiture team. Today, we're having the webinar dedicated to the new iOS 15 updates, especially the one that we are definitely very excited about, which is product page optimization and custom product pages. And today, I'm having my two wonderful colleagues, Julia and Skylar, who are going to talk you through these two new updates. Guys, I would like you to say hi and definitely introduce the topic you're going to speak today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Skylar. I'm a consultant at Phiture, and I'm going to be walking you through the custom product pages today.
And I'm Julia. I'm super happy to be here, and I'm going to be talking about the product page optimization. Super excited about sharing this with you guys.
Thank you, guys. And I'm Marina. Today, I'll be the host of today's webinar, just helping you through, also checking your questions. Yes, please feel free to leave any questions in the QA section. Definitely we'll be addressing them also after the webinar. And no worries about the recording or the slides. They also will be shared with you afterwards. And let's quickly check today's agenda. Definitely, we're going to walk you through the major changes that we're having for iOS 15, and definitely, as my colleagues have just mentioned, through custom product pages and product page optimization. And definitely, we also would like to share with you some actionable steps that you can take in order to prepare for these iOS 15 updates. A couple of words, definitely, as you know, the webinar is hosted by Phiture, which is a huge mobile growth company, and there are so many services that we are so proud to cover, from managed and creative ASO to retention, performance marketing, subscription optimization, growth consulting. And I would say definitely knowledge sharing is one of our core values. So that's why feel free to check all the wonderful resources from ASO Stack to our huge Stack communities, our monthly newsletters, and also mobile growth Stack. And we're also very excited about the newly edition of our ASO book, which is coming soon. So stay tuned. And let's go directly to what we're going to expect from the new iOS 15 updates. Definitely, there were lots of news shared by Apple, but today we'd like to focus definitely primarily on product page optimization, because definitely this is like a huge game changer. This is finally the way we can now understand what actually are the preferences of iOS users, specifically iOS. Also, custom product pages, which is another wonderful way to link the ASO and performance marketing and actually make your user journey way, way smoother than it was before. Also, we have another updates like in-app events, and definitely this is another wonderful way to let more and more people discover your app. And we're also very excited about the App Store analytics. Again, this is like a very nice way for you to get even more insights and make better decisions. And keeping this in mind, I would like to give the floor to introduce custom product pages to Skylar. Please.
All right, so I'm gonna run through everything that we know about custom product pages so far. So first of all, what are they? So custom product pages are basically a way of showcasing different facets of your app. So the same app, but just highlighting different features based on your, the users that you're targeting. So what this is going to allow you to do is to maintain consistent messaging from your UA channels through to the App Store, with the main benefit of being that you're going to be able to convey the optimal messaging for specific audiences, and in turn increase the conversion rate. So if we just look at the example on the right over here for this mountain climber app, if you look on the second screen, maybe if you have users that are more interested in, for example, live streaming or something like that, you can highlight that content front and center. And if you look at the third example there, if you have users that are more interested in, for example, climbing with friends together, then you might want to highlight the GPS tracking feature. So this is what we mean by conveying that consistent messaging across, and kind of like tailoring your assets for a specific audience. So now let's get into the specifics. So custom product pages, how do they work? So you're going to be able to create up to 35 custom product pages at a time. So quite a bit of custom product pages that you can work with there. You'll be able to link users to your desired custom product page with a unique URL. And that's gonna only be available for channels that allow you to specify your URL because it's going to be unique. And then looking at the assets, so what can you actually have control over modifying and adjusting? That's going to be the screenshots, the app previews, and the promo text. So no changes to the icon or the text metadata there, but all the visual stuff will be able to be changed.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Probably, I would definitely just kind of definitely supporting your idea that this is like a huge game changer, especially right now when, especially for apps, let's say they have lots of features that would like to target, and the apps that actually addressing different audiences. So definitely for them, this opportunity to actually to go and let's say create these 35 custom pages is huge. Again, because this is like this very nice way to link your ads to actually the exact product page, and this is like the whole idea of making this user journey way smoother. I also have one question, because you've just mentioned again like the channels that actually allow to specify the URL. Can you please elaborate a little bit more on the channels and how
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely is a really big game changer because up until now you haven't had this type of functionality with iOS. So what that means is that in your own channels, like your website, that's definitely going to be able to be linked to custom product pages because you can specify the URL there. Same thing with Apple search ads and also from like any MMP stuff that you have going. So that's all okay. The question marks are more around Facebook and Google. So we still don't know if they're going to allow you to specify a specific URL, because at the moment the mobile app install campaigns just send you directly to the product page. And it would actually be a good idea if Apple were to enable some type of pulling of a list of CPPs that they can send users to via an API or something like that. But so far we don't really know, but thanks for the question. Also, can I just mention quickly, anybody who has any questions, can you just put them in the Q&A section, and then I can try to answer them after we get through this section. I saw a couple popping up, so.
Yeah, thank you for reminding. Yes, guys, please leave all the questions in the Q&A section just for us. It will be just easier for us to track and not to miss anything. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right, so as many people may be familiar with, there's also something in the Play Store called custom store listings. And this is the first thing we thought of when we heard custom product pages, because they sound very similar. But the reality is that they actually have very different functionality, though the naming is the same. So here we just have an overview of the main differences between the two. So I'm going to start with the Play Store custom store listings. So when it comes to targeting, these are country specific, whereas the custom product pages in the App Store are not. So users can be sent to specific product pages via a link, and it's not dependent on the geo or the language or anything like that. Customization level, Play Store has more customization in terms of the assets that you can work with. Whereas the custom product pages are more customizable in terms of targeting specific audiences. And then the last point here, number of listings. So you have 5 in the Play Store. And as we just mentioned earlier, you have up to 35 with the custom product pages.
Yeah, exactly. This is like a very good point, because definitely as an ASO consultant, I would like to see, to have this opportunity to test even more assets for specifically Apple custom product pages. But at the time, as you are saying, the targeted opportunities, there are just way more of them. And this is definitely, I would say, like the biggest win, especially for the Apple custom product pages.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be looking at these in a second as well, in a bit more detail. Yeah, so here we have kind of outlined some different ways that you can categorize or group your custom product pages. So 7 different examples here, and we're actually going to have a look at what that might look like in the next slide, so we can actually move on, and I'll cover these in the next slides. So one way is to go with an intent-based approach, and this would kind of focus on emphasizing different features of the app, similar to like that first slide with the mountain climber app. So if you have a campaign, in this case, we're looking at Headspace, and if you have a campaign targeting people who want to sleep better, then you can actually direct them to the custom product page that showcases content about how the app can help you sleep better. And similarly, if you're targeting people who are interested in meditating, you can also show them meditation content front and center. You can also use an audience-based approach. So in this example here, you can theoretically target, you can determine if people are interested in male profiles or female profiles and direct them to the correct custom product page that you want to specify for that portion of the audience. This one might be a little bit tricky, but as an example. Then you can also use a country-based strategy. So in this example here, we're looking at Volt. And if you see in the first splash screen there, you'll be able to, for example, incorporate some food that's really popular in specific countries, depending on which region you're targeting. And you can also have, like customized, if you see that last screen there, that's a map of Germany. But if you wanted to, for example, target, say, Austria or something like that, you can actually customize that screen so it's a map of Austria.
Yeah, exactly. I would probably, even like a very good point. That's probably when you were talking about the Google Play Store listing that, again, they're, like, let's say quite country specific. Again, can you please just a little bit more elaborate here, like this like language or country, like, again, this is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is
very good point.
the hugest part of the custom product pages.
Yeah, so up until now, if we're talking about the German language, for example, so in the App Store, you can actually pick German as a language, but you can't really differentiate between the different countries that speak German. So for example, Germany and Austria in this example. So this is going to be the first time that you can actually send people from Austria to a specific page and send people from Germany to a specific page, although it's the same language. So that's why it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Yeah, okay. So this one, this is, if you have some kind of timely product offers or anything like that, you can also create custom product pages for that. So in this example here, if you're the sneakers app and there's, maybe a new pair of Jordans getting released or something like that, and people need to enter a raffle or something, and if it's like really time sensitive, you can actually send those users there and they can kind of see that up front. And this could also work for like coupon codes. I guess in the Postmates example here, you can also kind of incorporate that into a country-based strategy as well. If you have like specific promo codes only for a specific country or something like that, you can create product pages for that.
Yeah, I would even kind of, just also maybe give just a good note again, like definitely, even though we're showing, like lots of visuals examples, and definitely right now we're talking a lot about screenshots, but yeah, also one of the assets that you can go and actually experiment with will be, let's say, your promo text. Again, let's say any of these kind of deals, you can also, let's say, even some country specific deals, just exactly as you've addressed, let's say Germany and Austria. If you can, if you're again having something, very specific, country specific, you can definitely, use the screenshots for this, or let's say you can also put any of these promo offers also in the promo text, which is like another great asset that you can use and experiment with.
Definitely. You can use a seasonal campaigns approach. So 2 examples here, one for Black Friday. So if you have some kind of Black Friday deals or something like that, you can create a custom product page for that. Or, like the Tokyo Olympics are right around the corner. And maybe if you're targeting users who are interested in that, you can create assets that kind of address that when they land on your product page. I think we're getting into the last couple of examples here. So offline campaign strategy. So this would be something pretty straightforward. If you have, like a QR code in the wild, as they say, you can actually have people scan those QR codes, and then they can get directed to the relevant product pages that are relevant for them. So in this case, if they're looking for music video related content, you can showcase that. Or if they're looking for educational content, you can showcase that once they scan that QR code. So you're starting to see all the different ways that you can use custom product pages and kind of like leverage them to increase your conversion rates and hopefully increase your revenue per paying user.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's actually quite impressive that, you can only like you can not only, again, like you're not working only like in like within, let's say, the app store itself. You're actually, yes, as you are saying, even like this really good example of online campaigns, you can actually go, as you're saying, somewhere in the wild and actually, yeah, just leverage all the possible channels.
Yeah, this is also a really interesting one. So let's say that you want to win back some churned users. One strategy could be that you retarget them in retargeting campaigns, and you kind of like try to win them back by showcasing some new features. And these examples, Pixar is showcasing like new exclusive filters that may be interesting to churned users, or in the example to the right, showcasing like thousands of new soundtracks or something that you can add to your video. And this could be a way of trying to win back those churn users. All right, so after finishing off those, let's look at how you can actually measure the impact of your custom product pages. So as far as the App Store analytics metrics go, we have the usual CVR metrics that everybody is familiar with, so impressions, downloads, and conversion rate. But there are actually some exciting new metrics that are being added, and those are going to be retention metrics and average proceeds per paying user. And these will help you to evaluate the custom page performance over time. These are really exciting, these new metrics, because we've never actually had these before until now. So this is completely new, and it's going to kind of like change the way you're able to analyze your performance in the App Store. And as far as measuring, using these metrics to measure performance, we would follow the best practices that we already use for Google Play, and that's going to be like in terms of duration that you're running, minimum installers, statistical significance, and things like that. All right, so here's an example of how you may want to test different custom product pages to measure the performance. And this is just a typical A/B test style. So you can actually have your campaign and you can split traffic between the campaigns to have them go to different custom product pages and find out which one is actually performing better for you. And for doing this, you can measure the conversion rate and also the average proceeds per paying user.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely kind of probably quite interesting again. Definitely, especially because right now, just a few seconds ago, you've mentioned that measuring and say following the best Google Play Store practices, which is again, whenever let's say we're thinking of, I don't know, even like installs or impressions, we definitely would like to have like more or less equal, let's say, metrics or audiences, or again, like in terms of impressions or installs for each and every, let's say, custom page that we are testing. Again, in terms of the traffic split, if you can just elaborate a little bit on this.
Yeah, so for this, as a developer, you'll need to set up a way to randomly direct people to either one of the different product pages that your custom product pages that you're testing. And that would likely be done with a piece of code on your website that will randomly divide the traffic across the different custom product pages that you're testing. And then that will allow you to have, basically a similar number of people landing on your different custom product pages. And it'll help you figure out, which one is actually performing best for you. All right, so as you can probably tell, this is going to be really big, and it's going to kind of like alter a bit the strategy and how your different teams, like the performance marketing team, your ASO team, and your brand team, are going to work together going forward. So as we already know, the App Store is an important part of the user journey. I'm going to kind of like outline how we see those these three parts of your business kind of working together. So ASO teams, they know everything about conversion and guidelines in the App Store. So it makes sense for their role to be to create the custom product pages. Then moving on to the performance marketing team. So they're actually running the campaigns. They have a good understanding of, what type of messaging resonates, different audience segmentations and things like that. And they'll actually be able to provide a really good insight into which custom product pages make sense to create based on their campaigns and their targeting and things. And they'll also be able to analyze whether the custom product pages are actually improving the return on ad spend. And then lastly, we have the brand team. So their role is pretty straightforward. They'll be able to make sure that campaigns and messaging align with the brand guidelines of the company. And the main takeaway here is that when all these teams are actually in sync and working well together, there are actually going to be a lot of opportunities to capitalize on areas for improving performance. And by that, we mean, targeting specific user personas, creating smoother onboarding flows, increasing paying subscribers, and so on. All right, so there are still a couple of questions that need to be answered. So as we mentioned early on, Facebook and Google campaigns, we don't know if they're going to allow for specifying a specific link to send people to. So that's still kind of up in the air. The other question is a bit more broad. So how will custom product pages work with Apple search ads? So we know that you are going to be able to send users to custom product pages, but we don't know if that's going to be on a campaign level or on an ad group level. Yeah, so that's one of the things. But we definitely do have confirmation from Nadir here from the ASO Stack Slack community, as well as Apple, that there will be integration between Apple search ads and the custom product pages. Another question that this brings up is what's going to happen to creative sets. So we don't really know yet, but we will find out in due time. And yeah, just to wrap everything up. So yeah, custom product pages, I said it before, I'll say it again, it's a game changer. It's going to allow you to show the app in a different light. So all the same, features, but just kind of like optimizing for who you're targeting. It's going to let you sync on messaging from your UA campaigns and kind of have like a single voice throughout. And it is going to take some effort. I don't want to say effort. It's going to take work because there's a lot of custom product pages that you can set up and a lot of analysis that goes into it. So in this sense, the sooner people start prepping for this, the better prepared you'll be when this actually goes live in the future.
Yeah, so true. I would probably also, just highlight your last point, especially when you actually talked about the teams and like this beautiful link between the performance marketing, the ASO, and also the brand team. This is like the time for you and like to come together and actually discuss all the opportunities that you can leverage right now, because yes, there are so many different audiences that you can address. There are so many user cases or strategies that you can use, everything from like targeting specific features or audiences, countries, retargeting, and even going offline. So just as Carla said, that will be a lot of work, but definitely will be quite excited to see how this is going to turn out. And yes, definitely there are still a lot of questions. So that's why hopefully we'll be also holding the second webinar once the feature is actually released to address these questions, and probably many more that are going to come in the near future. So thank you so much for sharing. Definitely, I'm seeing there are quite a lot of questions in the Q&A sessions. No worries, guys. We'll be addressing them right after the webinar. And right now we are proceeding to the second part, which is product page optimization. Definitely custom product pages, they are creating this link between the performance marketing and ASO, but definitely the ASO field has actually got its proper star. And as we've mentioned, we are so excited about this update just because finally this is like a proper way to test and to understand the preferences of iOS users, not just pure assumptions, or let's say not when you just go and use your Google Play learnings and try to implement them for the App Store. But no, right now we actually got some proper testing tool, and we're very excited to try this. So I'm giving the floor to my colleague Julia to walk you through this wonderful new feature.
Yeah, thanks, Arina. Yeah, we're super looking forward to the product page optimization. And basically, what are they? They are the newest native A/B testing environment in App Store. And just for the ones who are not super familiar with A/B testing, it's pretty much a place where you can customize your content and test one variant against the other to see which one is going to generate the biggest results. So you have your default page, and then you're testing another variant, and you can test actually up to 3 variants against the other. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that it's one of the biggest announcements for ASO, and we're really looking forward, especially ASO practitioners, about it. And it's also really important to point out that a lot of developers are making the most money in iOS and not on Google Play. So it's also nice that now we can really get those results from App Store, because we all know that this already exists in Google Play. So yeah, if we talk a little bit about how they work. So as far as we know, we can test up to 3 variations. So you have the variant A, which is your default one, and then you can test B, C, and D, let's call it like this. So you can test up to 3 ones. You can test for specific languages, so you can localize in terms of like the language, US, Chinese, Japanese, I don't know, no matter the language that your app is localized. And you can actually only test 3 things, so 3 assets, which would be the icons, screenshots, and app reviews.
Yes, I mean, it's really exciting to see that. Let's say we have like 3 assets that we can actually test, but also as an ASO practitioner, I would definitely like to see more assets that can be tested, especially let's say the title or the subtitle. Definitely we know how important they are in terms of the conversion rate. So yes, but at least it's a good start, but we'll see, maybe we'll get some more assets in the future.
For sure. And when we talk about those 3 assets, if we break down into, now we're going to break down into 2 parts. So the first one, we're going to talk about screenshots and app reviews, some things that we think are really worth pointing out. So we really need to be mindful that when we're uploading those screenshots and the app reviews, you don't really need to have it together with your release. So you don't really need a new release for the uploading those. But they still need to be reviewed by the Apple team. So this is also worth mentioning. But if we talk about icons, if you go to the next one, let's say after you got your results and you tested your A/B testing, and then let's say here in the example that we saw that the variant D, let's say, won, and we want to actually the users to see them after they download the app, as you see on the right side on the screenshots. You actually need to update the default icon in your app binary in order for them to see. So this is also something really important pointing out. And another thing is that is super nice is that you can choose the audience. So if you say, for example, I'm taking the same example as Apple said. So if you say my variant B, C, and D, I want just 30% of them to get to see actually the different variations. I can say that only 10% of them get the results. I mean, see the screenshots.
Yeah, actually, I do really love that you point out, especially, this like the whole idea that the icon is actually, I mean, it should be uploaded to the binary of the of actually of the app version. And I think, you know, it's actually, you know, very nice, even like from the point of user, because let's say sometimes you are downloading the app, you're seeing the specific icon, but sometimes you do not really go, you know, and open this app straight away. Or even if you actually go and let's say you're having one icon on the product page and then you're going and checking your device, trying to find actually this icon, and if the icon like happens differently, it like could have, yeah, just could have been different, then you just, as the user, you just will be confused. So that's why it was, you know, very thoughtful of Apple to actually to introduce this like specific review and like uploading a review process specifically for the icon, knowing how important this asset, even like from the point of like recognition for the app.
Exactly, because if we saw, for example, that the last variant, let's say the D1 was the winning one, we obviously and created the most uplift in terms of conversion rate, we definitely want all of the users to show this variant, right? So this is, yeah, something really exciting. And here it's more or less a bit like a comparison, just like Skylar did. But now we're talking about product page optimization and store listing experiments. They're definitely not the same, but we tend to kind of think and try to find what is similar or not. So here we're just trying to point out a few things that we found out and we think it's really worth pointing out. So for Google Play store listing experiments, things that you can test, you can actually test more things than for App Store. So you can test icon, promo videos, screenshots, feature graphics, short and long descriptions, and you cannot test the title. But for the app product page optimization, you can test icons, screenshots, and app reviews, as I mentioned. But unfortunately, we cannot test title, subtitle, and description, which is a pity. We are actually hoping, right, that we could test title as well, because I think it's one of the biggest points of understanding the conversion rate of the apps. And it's just a real pity that we cannot see this, maybe in the future.
Exactly. I mean, like visuals, they are definitely, you know, very important parts, like let's say the screenshots or the app reviews and the icon itself, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely text assets. They have this like very huge impact on the conversion, because yeah, just in a couple of words, you can actually go and tell exactly what your app is about. And once we can actually go and even able to test them, it's even, you know, very important for us just to, you know, even to understand the preferences of the users, again, even the way they see the app, because sometimes even the developers may not really know, again, what are the values that actually the audience sees in the app. So yeah, if we can also go, let's say, and test some text assets, this would be really wonderful. But I hope, like, fingers crossed, we're going to have some of these assets added in the future.
Exactly. And then when it comes, if you could just go back a bit, yeah, if we talk about how many experiments you can run at a time, it's still a bit uncertain for App Store. We definitely know that we cannot do a filter of geo-specific, because on Google Play, we can definitely create the custom store pages and do actually this filter of targeting users in different countries. But as far as we understood, this is something that is not possible of doing it. And we also, it's not super clear as how many testings can we do at a time. So can we do A/B testing for all of the localizations that I have? So this is also a question that we have. And when it comes to applying winners after the experiments, for Google Play, we know that we don't really need a new app release. And for App Store, as far as we understood the icon, we would need a new release and also updated in the binary. But for screenshots and app reviews, they already can be applied.
Yeah, and just make visible to all the users. Yeah,
exactly. Making it visible to all of the users. Exactly.
Yeah, which actually means quite a lot of work for, you know, whenever I'm thinking that we have like 35 custom pages, and also you're going to run product page testing for all the possible languages. Oh, yes, that would be quite a lot of work for the ASO and localization design and like the overall performance and ASO team, but definitely worth it.
Exactly. And then when it comes to measuring performance, a few things that we know is that we can gather data from the test up to 90 days, meaning we cannot run tests for more than 90 days. And here is something really that we're still really curious of understanding of, like, okay, how long should we run a test in order to decide if it's going to be a reliable test, because if we don't have enough downloads, people downloading it, and we have a really small sample size, in the end of the day, we cannot say that it's it's not going to be something that we can take this data and move forward to our strategies and say, okay, this is worked everywhere because we had like really little number of downloads. From the analytics, some names, not all of them are really new. So impressions, downloads, conversion rate, and improvement. Improvement is also not super clear. What do they mean by it? Just pretty much how is it going to be the improvement compared to the default page, so your current one. But still, a lot of things of the setup of the campaign is still unknown. And also, for example, impressions, when we talk about impressions, meaning, okay, users seeing the product page, what do they mean by it? Is it for unique devices, or is meaning like if I saw, for example, the ad, will I see this 5 times? Is it going to count as 5 times? So this is also an uncertainty that we have. And they also shared with us that they are going to use the tests. They're using this statistical theory called Bayesian model, which is pretty much a theory in statistics to calculate the probability of things and the likelihood of a certain event happening. And the reason why they're using it is that they can actually work with smaller sample sizes. So if I talk maybe in other words, in like simple words, it's pretty much if you're running an experiment and it has like it's showing early signs of winning, what the rest of the experiment is going to be built in this early sign of being a win, and you are going to be able to get those quicker results. So this is also something that we're really looking forward to see how is it going to work out in the whole setup of the campaign. Yes, and an impact on the ASO strategy. Why is this a game changer? I mean, we can do A/B testing. That's pretty awesome, and really understand in a better way the results and really have concrete learnings, understanding why is this variant better against the other one. So we can definitely improve the conversion rate in a better way. And the reason I'm saying this, if you go to the next slide, what we're currently doing in terms of A/B testing, we have 3 ways. So we have creative set testing, sequential analysis, and fake app stores. And we all seen those limits. If we talk about, for example, creative set testing and fake app stores, it really depends on your strategy of your campaign and the traffic that you're getting there. Because if, for example, you're not targeting all of the users, possibly something went wrong with the campaign, you're going to be losing a lot of potential people that are going to be seeing this. And when we talk about sequential analysis, there are many factors that are going to influence. So for example, seasonality, and also maybe if your app, the company is running other online campaigns, it could be also something that it impacts. So we all seen its limits, and they are never, in the end of the day, 100% reliable. So that's why we're super looking forward to the A/B testing.
Yeah, probably, especially when like if we, as we pointed out, definitely, I mean, like the iOS developers, they can definitely, right now they're probably the majority of them using either the creative set testing or let's say sequential analysis or even fake app stores. Yes, but as you're saying, probably again, like the biggest game changer, this is like just a huge game changer just because right now, you can use these ones, or again, I just know so many developers, they still, they're definitely sticking to this Google Play experiments. So that's why, just having this chance to actually to go and like target specifically iOS audience, plus having, something that is not that, impacted by other, let's say, channels, as you said, let's say your user acquisition campaigns. This is again something that will give us this chance to have results that are actually data driven and actually that relate specifically to the iOS audience. So that's why definitely
exactly
waiting.
Exactly. And obviously we still have more thoughts and questions that we're still waiting to be answered, and we're just going to understand them once the features are actually launched. But one really big one that we have is we still want to understand is how are the search results will be connected to A/B testing, meaning are the users going to engage with the A/B testing when they are in the product page or when they are already in the search or when they are in the search results. And this could really differ and really impact the way we're analyzing results. So this is a huge question that we have. And the other question that we have is that can elements of the custom product page be tested? Because we know that for the product page, we can test A/B testing. So that's pretty much what I've been talking about in my whole session. But when we talk about a little bit of what Skylar talked about the custom product pages, it's still a bit unsure if we can actually A/B test those custom product pages. So it's, let's say I have the one with a specific treatment and I have the specific audience, and it's pretty much the same URL that is being linked to my campaign. Can I actually A/B test those, or should I create a new page? So this is also something that we're a bit unsure of and waiting for the news. And that's pretty much it from my side.
Yes, as you just said, very excited about like all these new changes that are coming in. So yeah, definitely just to give you a quick recap, definitely my colleagues have already summarized, but just to make it brief, we have custom product pages, we have product page optimization. Definitely we are going to interact with different type of channels. We have our paid, like let's say when we're talking about custom product pages, definitely we are talking about our paid channels. At the same time, if we're talking about product page optimization, then in this case, then we're likely to have both paid and organic. Always keep in mind, again, the new, like the variety of testing that we can have. For custom product pages, we have this like 35 custom pages that you can be using, again, to target different features, audiences, and so on and so forth. For our product page optimization, we definitely, what we know definitely right now, we do not really know the limits. I mean, like how many, let's say, experiments or product page testings we can run at the same time, but we definitely know that you're going to have your default page plus 3 variations, which is also like a great start. But yeah, hopefully you can actually like there should be no limits and you can test as many like for as many localizations as possible. Definitely, I think one of the main questions will be, okay, when can we actually expect this iOS 15 update? Definitely, if we go and just track when the iOS 15, different iOS versions have been released, we definitely know that they usually release somewhere in September, mid-September. So that's why we're definitely expecting the product page, the product page feature will be launched also somewhere in mid-September. And we also know that we can expect custom product pages to be released in early 2020. So these are great news, which means we can already start preparing for mid-September for custom product page optimization, and actually starting in October, November, you can also take your team and sit down and talk through the custom product pages and how you're actually going to launch them. To give you some actionable steps, I would probably divide the whole timeline starting from July to October. Right now, we're definitely talking about product page optimization because this is like the first feature that is going to be rolled out. So strategy and prioritization in July, prepare your creatives in August, start testing hopefully in September, and then in October, you already will be having some data to analyze and actually to have some results and plan, let's say, your future testing roadmap in a very iterative way. So just give you briefly some details what we are meaning when we're saying strategy and prioritization in July. It's all about actually sitting down with your ASO team and aligning. Definitely go and hold some brainstorms. Discuss what are going to be, like, definitely you can go big, but let's say in July, have your focus and let's say start with top 5, let's say some strategic directions that you would like to prepare first for your product page testing. And at the same time, make sure again that you also have all your resources from design, localization, ASO people. Just again, there will be a lot of work, and this is what you definitely need to keep in mind. And especially, when we're talking about, let's say, brainstorm sessions, or again, choosing the strategic directions. Definitely one of my advice will be go and check the conversion optimization loop. I would say there are just, really there's like bite-sized, very actionable steps that actually you can go and use to choose your first 5 strategic directions. Everything, use literally go and check the field, conduct the research. These are all the fields that you can go and check. Again, from Phiture to markets to, again, any user testing that you may have at hand right now. Use this conversion optimization loop just to summarize all your ideas and to craft these first 5 directions. Highly recommend it. Once you sit down with your team, you've got the brainstorms, you've made sure you have all the resources, you've actually agreed on the top 5 first strategic directions you're going to test. In August, it's actually time for you to create all the assets that are actually needed to test. So this is where you're going to think with your design and localization, and definitely remember about your ASO team, because exactly these are the people who know all the guidelines and everything needs to be checked before the release. So definitely keep this in mind. Hopefully in September, when the feature is released, this is exactly when you have the opportunity to launch the first tests and to have this very clear understanding of how actually the testing setup will look like, also how the reviewing process will look like, and how you're going to use the new analytics to, again, to make decisions whether to apply the variants or not. Plus, make sure you need to sync, again, the ASO team and also your development team, because especially as my colleague Julia pointed out, especially when it comes to, let's say, not just uploading, let's say, screenshots and app reviews, but let's say also the app icon, which is a special point of focus. This is, when you need to go and make sure that developers actually include this into the binary of the current release, or then once you decide to apply this, it's also will be included in the future release. So make sure all the teams synced and know exactly what should be done. And in October, hopefully also when we're having the first results after running these campaigns, you can actually, again, sit down with your different teams, everything from ASO to performance marketing, actually to design localization, to also have some, these meetings to analyze the results, to understand, okay, what has worked, how actually the process is working. Also agree on the decision-making protocol, because again, this is testing, so that this you also need to take into account, let's say, the audience, the amount of installs that you believe are enough for you to actually, let's say, to implement the variant. Plus, will be also a very good moment for you to actually expand the whole testing roadmap, because now you know how the whole system is actually going to work. So you can go and go back to the CRO loop, use and create new hypotheses based on your research, craft new iterations, make sure again that they're all data driven and they're actually iterative, and this is how you can actually start and prepare the whole timeline and make sure definitely that you have enough resources to actually execute this timeline. I would say that for custom product pages, the whole situation will be quite similar. The timeline just might be a little bit different, but absolutely the same processes. You can go and start with strategy and prioritization. What is also important for you is, again, this is quite new. So that's why you will literally need to think if you need to somehow revamp your organizational structure, because usually the ASO and the performance marketing are 2 different teams in the majority of the companies. But this is actually the moment to come to sit down and actually to sync both of them, because you will need to work really closely to execute all these changes. Plus, definitely hold the brainstorms. Again, you can go big, but I would say probably, again, the biggest advice is to actually to have you focus on the top 5, let's say, campaigns, or again, some targets, some targeting that you can prepare for your custom product pages. And again, make sure you have enough resources to execute. The same for creatives. Definitely, it's all about design and localization, and again, syncing with your ASO team, because yes, these are the people who exactly know all the guidelines you need to follow in order to pass the App Store review successfully. Testing, hopefully in early 2020, And yes, this is also for you the time to launch the test, the same, understand the setup, the reviewing process, how the analytics works. Also, this is all about syncing with your development team, with also your ASO team. Make sure all the assets are uploaded correctly. Plus, definitely go and make sure the PM team is also has all the URL unique links prepared, that they are changed, and they actually, they're just fresh and ready to go live once the feature is actually released. And the last step will be the same, analyzing and iterative testing when you are syncing your both teams, ASO, performance marketing, again, all the other teams, design, localization, to analyze these first results, to polish your decision-making process, and to expand your testing roadmap, because, well, definitely know that you have 35 custom product pages, and who knows, maybe we will also have the opportunity to actually to test the assets inside this custom product pages, which means many more experiments. So definitely very excited, looking forward to releasing these new features. And as I said, hopefully we're going also to have another webinar just to walk you through the setup and actually give you examples of how you can do this like in real life and measure all the results. And finishing our webinar, also our company is growing, so we would like to welcome new tech professionals to our team. So feel free to check the website and our openings. I would say the team is absolutely, I would say, not only professional, but also very welcoming. And if you want to get the first-hand insights, then definitely we're looking forward to seeing you here in Berlin. And if you have any questions, definitely we'll be addressing them right now here, but just in case some of them left, we'll be collecting them from the QA session, no worries. But you can also message us, let's say the email, or you can also go and join our ASO Stack community. There are a lot of people, definitely there are also people from Phiture that we just will be jumping in and answering any of your requests, but also, there are lots of wonderful ASO practitioners who are always willing to help. So definitely check the link and join. So hopefully we'll be in touch there. So thank you very much. And I think it's the time for our Q&A session. So
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Okay, guys, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to check any questions so far, and if there are any, let's say, some specific questions that you'd like to address right now.
Yeah, I was typing away in the. There were a lot of questions flying in, but I think these might disappear once we end the webinar. So if there are any other questions that weren't addressed, please redirect those to the ASO Stack Slack. It's a really good community, a lot of members, 4K members. Yeah, and we can carry on over there.
Yeah, was there any specific question that you may find particularly interesting for, I don't know, for the overall audience?
There are a lot of questions. Not off the top of my head, to be honest. I'm looking through now.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's best to take it onto the ASO Stack, and then we can.
Yes, please. I mean, like, no worries, because as I'm saying, there will be definitely, we will be there, and other team members also will be just jumping in and helping you with the questions. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of them, that there should be a lot of them. The features are quite new, and yeah, definitely there are quite a lot of questions still. So yeah, definitely we'll be having more and more answers once the feature is released. But yeah, so far we'll be just doing our best to give you some actionable recommendations, just to make sure you can actually use this feature, or at least get prepared to using this feature in a proper way. Okay, Julia, maybe any product page optimization related question that you like to particularly point out?
I'm also checking here, but I think not really. There's a question here regarding if the product page, no, actually not. It's better just to answer offline. I think it's nothing really bigger.
Oh, there's one question of how to join the ASO Stack Slack. So you can find that, well, there's the link there. When we share it out, you'll be able to join via that. You can also check our website. Just pop it into Google and you'll find.
Yeah, sure, no worries. As I've said in the very beginning, all like the recording and also the slides will be shared. So just in case the slides, they also have an active link to our ASO Stack community. But yeah, as Carla said, you can just you can actually go and check our ASO Stack website. There is definitely like a whole instruction on how to join ASO Stack. So
Protest sent it out, so we're good.
Oh,
there.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. All right.
Oh, yeah, very well done. In this case, as I'm saying, no worries. All the questions will be addressed. So hope we gave you some food for thought and also some actionable recommendations. Looking forward to seeing you in our ASO Stack community and keeping in touch. So thank you very much. And yeah, have a lovely day or evening. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks, guys.